In a small Russian zoo on the outskirts of town, Olga Petrov had always been known for her special way with animals. Her colleagues often joked that she could speak their language, but even she wasn't prepared for the extraordinary connection she would forge with a cheetah named Ishil. The day Ishil arrived started like any other. The morning air was crisp, and excitement buzzed through the zoo staff as they prepared for their newest resident. Olga stood back, observing as the transport cage was carefully maneuvered into position. But when the door opened, something wasn't right. Instead of the cautious exploration typical of big cats in new environments, Ishil simply lay down and remained still. "Give him time," the senior keeper advised. "Moving can be stressful for animals." But Olga noticed the labored rise and fall of the cheetah's chest, a subtle sign that something was amiss. By morning, alarm bells were ringing. Ishil hadn't moved all night, and more worryingly, he showed no interest in food. The zoo's veterinarian was called immediately, and his diagnosis confirmed their fears: pneumonia, likely contracted during transport. The beautiful creature's life hung in the balance, dependent on medication he refused to take. Days passed, and Ishil's condition deteriorated rapidly. His once gleaming coat became dull and matted, his muscular frame grew gaunt, and his eyes, usually bright with feline intensity, turned an angry red. When he attempted to stand, his legs trembled and gave way beneath him. Olga couldn't bear to watch the magnificent animal waste away. "We have to do something," she insisted during a staff meeting. "What if I hand-fed him? Mix the medicine with his food?" Her suggestion was met with immediate opposition. "Absolutely not," the headkeeper declared. "A sick predator is unpredictable, it's far too dangerous." But Olga couldn't shake the image of Ishil's suffering. One quiet afternoon, when the other keepers were occupied with a school tour, she made her decision. Armed with a piece of meat and a water bottle, she approached Ishil's enclosure. Her heart thundered in her chest as she carefully opened the gate, knowing full well she was risking not just her job, but her life. Ishil didn't move as she entered, save for a slight twitch of his ears. Olga crouched nearby, careful to maintain a respectful distance. She dipped the meat in water and extended her hand, speaking softly in Russian. The cheetah's response was a weak growl, but Olga held her ground. "Come on, beautiful boy," she whispered. "Just a little bite." Whether it was the water-soaked meat or Olga's gentle persistence, something worked. Ishil's rough tongue darted out, lapping at the moisture. Then, tentatively, he took a small bite. It wasn't much, but it was a breakthrough. From that day forward, Olga became Ishil's lifeline. She carefully mixed his medication into water-soaked meat, and gradually the proud creature began to recover. His strength returned, and with it came something unexpected: affection. Where once there had been warning growls, now there were welcoming chirps. The fearsome predator would bump his head against her legs like a house cat, purring thunderously when she scratched behind his ears. Their bond became the talk of the zoo. Visitors would gather to watch in amazement as Olga sat comfortably in the enclosure with the massive cheetah sprawled beside her like an oversized house cat. For a year, their friendship deepened, defying conventional wisdom about the barriers between humans and wild animals. Then came the devastating news. The zoo was struggling financially, and difficult decisions had to be made. Ishil, as one of their most expensive residents to maintain, was to be sold to a traveling circus. Olga fought against the decision, but the zoo's financial reality was immovable. The day they took Ishil away was etched into Olga's memory. The usually gentle cheetah thrashed in his transport cage, his cries of distress echoing through the zoo. Olga's colleagues had to hold her back as she sobbed, reaching toward her friend as he was loaded onto the truck. 4 years passed, years in which Olga often wondered about Ishil's fate. She stayed at the zoo, caring for other animals, but none could fill the void left by the special cheetah who had trusted her with his life. Then one day, word reached the zoo that a circus was coming to town for filming. Among their animals was a blind cheetah who had lost his sight to illness 2 years prior. Olga's heart leaped at the possibility, though she tried to temper her hopes. When she entered the room where the circus animals were being kept, the blind cheetah was focused on his food bowl. But at the sound of her voice asking the handler a question, his head snapped up. A sharp, distinctive meow cut through the air, a sound Olga would have recognized anywhere. Without hesitation, she rushed to the cage. The moment the door opened, Ishel moved toward her with unerring accuracy, despite his blindness. He found her legs and pressed against them, purring with the same thunderous intensity she remembered. Tears streamed down Olga's face as she knelt beside him, running her hands through his fur, feeling the changes time had wrought but marveling at the unchanged heart of their connection. Their reunion proved that some bonds transcend time, species, and even sight. Through illness, separation, and disability, the trust and affection between a kind-hearted woman and a magnificent cheetah remained unbroken. In a world where human-animal relationships are often defined by fear or dominance, Olga and Ishel's story stands as a testament to the extraordinary power of compassion, proving that love and trust can bridge even the widest of natural divides. Today, their story serves as a reminder that kindness knows no boundaries and that the connections we forge through caring can outlast any obstacle. It challenges us to look beyond our preconceptions and recognize that sometimes the most profound friendships can form in the most unexpected places. What would you do if you found yourself in Olga's position? Would you have taken the same risk to save an animal in need? Have you ever experienced an unexpected connection with an animal that changed your perspective? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If you were moved by Olga and Ishel's story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more extraordinary tales of friendship and courage. Hit that notification bell to stay updated on our latest heartwarming stories. Want to see more incredible animal rescue stories? Check out our playlist, Amazing Animal Bonds, linked in the description below. Until next time, remember that compassion can bridge any divide, no matter how wide it may seem.